Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. So alright, I just thought I would review one of the Tim Burton movies that came out recently, which, okay, it kind of surprised me because I don't review Tim Burton movies all that often. Not really. I may have done it before, but yeah, it's not something I've done that often really on this channel. But anyway, as if it wasn't obvious enough, yes, yep. Beetlejuice 2. Yep, Beetlejuice 2. They actually made sequel of the Wild. So I actually thought I would venture out to go to the movie theater. Yeah, the same movie theater I've gone to before. So yeah, if you're familiar with this channel, this should look familiar to you because I've been here quite a few times already. Oh yeah, because I was just make an attempt to make a review on something recent. Well, as often as I can anyway. So whenever I have the chance, and this is a channel that talks about movies and such, so it made sense to me. So, alright, I just figured just do this might as well, folks. Granted, I don't talk about Tim Burton all that much, really. But yeah, I just thought, well, at least it gives me an excuse to get out for a little bit, I suppose. Why not? But yeah, finally got to see this, of course. I mean, I didn't exactly have the biggest expectations for this, really. And yes, of course, got myself some popcorn. You gotta have a snack with it, of course. Because that makes the experience a bit more fun, I guess. But anyway, yeah, like I was saying, I didn't really have much expectations really when it comes to it, because I know a lot of people were like freaking out, like getting all excited, to making a part two, to making a part two, hip hip hooray. I mean, that wasn't me. That wasn't me, at all. I mean, I went to see it anyway, obviously, of course, but I just thought I wasn't really expecting to watch this really, but I just thought I might as well. It gives me something to talk about, like Halloweenish, I guess. But what really made me want to watch this was, yes, the actress who actually played Wednesday. Yeah, she's in this. So, okay. This kind of crossover kind of thing, which we all know that's not going to happen. That's never going to happen. But it seems fitting when you think about it. It actually seems kind of fitting, actually. But it would have been cool, though. It would have been really cool. That's like an impossible but cool crossover to talk about, I guess, if I want to talk about it. Anyway, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Of course, as always, let's get into plot, shall we? So here we go. And yeah, I mean, yes, it does take quite a bit of time after the first one, as you might guess. And yes, they play that into the movie. Of course, this takes quite a bit, sometime after the original, of course. And they play that into your folks, of course. Going on to next generation kind of a thing where, yes, there's a new character around, which of course the actress I just mentioned a moment ago. I mean, yes, we do get some familiar faces, of course. They're just a bit older, obviously. Yes, the one goth girl from the first movie, she's back, and now she's a mother. And yeah, the old times where she was really rebellious, I've been a pain in the ass. Yeah, that comes back where the other woman that was in the other movie just pretty much throws in her face in some ways and whatnot. Now she has a skeptical, rebellious daughter of her own. What's the other character kind of says like something lines up, hey, that's karma, something like that, to make a little joke about it and whatnot. Yes, this goes into it's kind of a missed opportunity where the golf girl could be like a smart addict. Well, it runs in the family, and it seems a missed opportunity there, but still. Anyway, there are some familiar, I guess, things from the original film. So yeah, there's some callbacks from the original movie that do come into play. So yeah, if you're a fan of the original film and you haven't seen this one as of yet for whatever reason, yes, expect to be surprised in some ways because there's quite a few different callbacks from the original film. So yeah, it goes into a whole idea that three generations of this family have returned home to Wintoul River after this unexpected family tragedy. Yeah, that comes into play. So yes, But the thing is that the one Garth character I mentioned a moment ago, she's haunted by the memories of again what happened in the first film. So this movie really tries to attempt to tie in to what happened in the previous film. Of course, as sequels should, it's going to really tie in together, obviously. So that's still going to be a thing here, quite of course. But anyway, and that's the idea here, of course. Beetlejuice hasn't really been having a great time himself, and I'll leave it at that. He's into some quite a bit of trouble. So don't be thinking that oh he's living the best life in the afterlife, unscathed. No, no, no. I'll just leave it at that. He's not exactly having a great life either, and I'll just leave it at that. Even though I'm being somewhat vague here, I'll just leave it alone like that. I'll just keep it a mystery. So you have to find it yourself. So what's going on exactly? Yeah. Yeah, there should be some family drama, but the thing is, this is it kind of plays as a comedy because this technically is a horror comedy. So that doesn't mean they can't have any drama here and there, of course. And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that, of course. And yes, a lot of ways it kind of goes into how much you like the original film. It kind of goes into that because, like I said, there's lots of callbacks. I mean, I do mean quite a bit of callbacks to the original film, even with the music as well. So, like they I'll just shut up. I'll leave it there. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with the original film by this point, so I don't really have to get into specifics with the original film because that has been around for quite some time. And but honestly, I was kind of skeptical about this because the original film came out so damn long ago. It came out out ages ago. So and now you want to do this? Now you want to make a sequel to this? This seems kind of weird to me. Kind of half expecting like something like Coming to America, the second one, which honestly I thought it has to be one of the worst sequels I've ever seen. Oh my god, that was awful. I still want my time from that. I'm still haunted by that god awfulness from that movie. Holy shit, that was awful. It was shit. It was utter shit. Oh. Well, rest assured, Beetlejuice 2 was actually a pretty good movie. So okay, even though I was never really a big fan of Beetlejuice, but I don't think that should matter, really. But it is a good movie regardless. Whether I'm a fan or not, it doesn't matter. At least at the end of the day, it's still a good movie nonetheless. Of course, aside from the fact, like I said, there's a lot of callbacks, of course. Aside from that, so yes, the fans of the first Beetlejuice will get a bit nostalgic because of that. I don't like nostalgia. Ugh. Anyway, so other than that, those some great makeup effects. Great makeup effects is really here. Right here is really good. The makeup and whatnot. Oh, this is good. The special effects are really good, of course. I mean, it wasn't too flashy or anything. It wasn't just special effects all over the place. So what was done is the special effects was moderate, I guess. So it was enough. The special effects were enough that they didn't overstay its welcome, I guess. So that's a good sign there. Because one of my biggest complaints when it comes to the more modern day cinema is that the special effects will overstay the welcome. Yeah, I'm looking at new Transformer movies. Ugh, speaking of crap. But anyway, in terms of acting, the acting was actually quite solid as well. I like the acting. Everybody does a really good job throughout the entire thing, of course. And I thought the entire movie as a whole was actually nicely well done. I gave it that. So okay, so there was that. I did like the overall story that we're trying to go for. So when it comes to the more modern day cinema horror comedy movies, it's one of the better movies, I suppose. Even though honestly, I don't care for horror comedies really. I prefer them to be separate. I don't mind comedy. I don't mind horror, but together, I don't know about that. But at least in this case, I was entertained. I give it that. I was pretty much entertained. So there's not one moment I felt like it felt flat. That's not the case here. The movie's roughly 2 hours ish. So not once I felt that it would dragged or anything. And no, not once I felt like it dragged too much or anything. The pacing is pretty brisk, I guess you can say. Even though despite the fact that there are some slow down moments, but it's never for too long. So that's something, I suppose. Especially when it got close to the end, it really racked up the pacing, really. At least a good ways in, anyway. A good ways in, it really picked up the pacing. So that's something there, I suppose. Can't complain too much in that regard. So It was nicely done. So on a production value, it's well done, and I would say that it's definitely a well-rounded story. I like the story. Yes, this is us. What I'm trying to say is that this movie it does give perfect compliments to the first movie, yes, but I would even say that the film doesn't attempt to have like this emotional impact towards it, and it does do that in a good way, and I do like that. It tries to have this roundabout way, have an emotional attachment to it, of course, rather than just a movie that's trying to make money off of nostalgia. Which, yes, I do realize a lot of movies and TV shows do attempt to do that, just make money off of nostalgia, nothing more. I mean, maybe to some extent, this might be guilty of that. Maybe to some extent, but it's on the bright side, it's not over reliant on that. Is what I'm trying to get at. It's not over reliant on just that. It does attempt to have an at least on honest, genuine, emotional impact on the overall story and whatnot. There might be some drama thrown in there, but still, though, it does what it has to do, I suppose, at the end of the day. So I can't complain too much, of course. So yes, it does have its own way of trying to tell the story, of course. I like that. And yeah, but all I can really say for those who don't know, what I'm trying to get at is that yes, the film might be a bit of a slow burn in the first maybe 30 minutes going in. The first 30 minutes might be a bit slow, but it does pick up fairly fast. So it does pick up fairly fast. So as a viewer, you might be really engaged at what's going on, and of course, and the characters felt like they were trying to have their own lives, of course, as normal as they could, all things considered, of course. So okay, I was trying to give this film a chance, of course. I was trying to give this film a chance, even though the vast majority of the time the sequels tend to be disappointing, which is true. Most sequels are just flat out awful. Thankfully, not in this case. Sequels tend to be bad, so this is one of those few sequels. Obviously, I can honestly say that's quite good. I like that. So I know there was a cartoon series before this, of course, and I'm not that familiar with the cartoon series. All right, just you know, so if there were any Easter eggs that were making references to the cartoon series, I wouldn't know. I mean, I'm aware of it. I've heard about it. I saw glimpses and pieces of the show, but aside from what maybe some clips I saw of the show, or maybe if I saw the TV show, maybe if somebody was watching, I just walked by the TV and that's about it. That's my acknowledgement of the show, my knowledge of the show, I should say, does not go that deep. Maybe I saw some clips on YouTube, or maybe I saw some clips on somebody's social media account. If somebody talked about it, or if somebody was just watching maybe at a friend's house, playing the TV, and I just walked past it and just let it be that. So that's it. I was never really a fan of Beetlejuice as a whole, like we're saying anyway. Well, this Tim Burns version or the animated version, I was not always all that familiar with it. Not really. But I was just coming to this with open eyes, just see how okay, what do you have to offer, movie? What do you have to offer? Again, it gives me a chance to talk about horror related because I like spooky stuff anyway. I like spooky stuff to begin with, so there's that, I guess. I reckon. So this just gave me a chance to talk about something horror related or horror adjacent. I guess if that's the proper way to look at it. And who doesn't like to have a good laugh? What are you, a stiff? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with trying to laugh. I mean, I'm up for a comedy, I guess. Nothing wrong with laughing. I like a good laugh here and there. Sure, why not? Even though I complain a lot on this channel, I do complain quite often. I mean, I realize that. But anyway, I know there's some other moments I want to talk about the movie, but I can't really say a whole lot because it's just going to the spoiler, really, folks, of course. And I'll just say that. I'll just leave it at that, folks, of course. I'll just leave it at that. So anyway, this definitely film does definitely have a good time. I'll say that. It definitely has a really good time for what they were trying to aim for. I'm gonna say they, I mean Tim Burton and his team. What they were trying to aim for as a whole is well produced. I thought so. And if I had any complaints for the movie, they were kind of minor and compared to everything else because the sum is greater than some of its parts, if that makes any sense. So I guess that's why way of putting it. So if I have any complaints, they're just minor, very very minor compared to everything else. I mean, there's a few things I thought they could maybe work a bit more, but I'll leave it at that because it's not too much. It doesn't bring down film down too much for me, really. And again, all things considered, I thought it was worth a watch, even though it came out quite some time ago after the fact of the first movie. Yeah, I mean, I know, like I said before, making sequels is probably the most Hollywood thing you can think of because that's what they do. They would just love to crank out sequel after sequel, just like a truck ton of sequels and whatnot. And when it comes to making quality of said sequel is up to debate really, because like I said before, making sequels are often terrible, unfortunately. So this is one of the better sequels I've seen when it comes to a franchise, I suppose. I guess you consider this as a franchise. They made two of them now, I guess. And I don't know if they'll make a third. I don't know. I wasn't even aware. I wasn't even thinking that they were going to ever make a second one. I didn't even think that we were going to make a second one. So it just caught me off guard. Like after a while, when I saw some of the advertisement being broadcasted, I just thought, oh, what? Another one? They're making a second one after all this time? Like, okay. I thought that was kind of strange, but hey, whatever. You do whatever you want, I guess. Anyway, when it comes to Tim Burton, again, just throwing this out there, don't expect me to talk about Tim Burton all that often, really, because, again, I'm not really a fan of Tim Burton, really. But this was definitely a pretty solid movie. I'll give him that. I mean, I thought he earned my money, I guess, because I thought this was a pretty solid film as a whole. It's making a lot of money. It's a box office success. So good on him. So there we go. I guess I just add a few bucks to his pocket, I guess. Anyway, at the end of the day, I can just say this was definitely a good time. It's a good time in the movie theater, I suppose. And I thought it was a solid experience. Quite obviously, I would definitely say that. I thought this was a solid experience as a whole, I reckon. But anyway, I'm going to just wrap it up here, folks. And of course, thank you anybody for watching ahead of time. This is a pretty lengthy video, so there you go, I guess. Anyway, I mean, as a whole, I would definitely say it's worth a watch. But if you can't afford to go to the movies for whatever reason, I would say maybe just get on physical media if you can, I guess. Sure. But anyway, ultimately, it's not a terrible movie. That's what matters. It's a good time. That's all I'm going to say. It's a good time. I'll give this film an overall rating of a 7.1 out of 10. It gets a 7.1 out of 10 for me. So as always, thanks for watching. See ya.